We'll also at the same time be trying to conduct the webinar, but thank you so much for joining us today as we talk about live lead conversion for real estate professionals. If you are interested in downloading the slides for today's presentation, you can find them at slideshare.net/Melissa Zavala, and here's the link right here to grab those. So lead conversion is all about creating a really great master plan that works and working that plan over and over again. So today I'm really going to talk about the anatomy of an internet lead. I'm focusing a lot today on internet leads and providing some simple strategies and connections with internet leads, tactics for creating a lead qualification and conversion master plan, and also providing some tips for qualifying and converting internet leads, for identifying qualified leads and converting them. And then, of course, I'll review some best practices for initial face-to-face appointments, which are sometimes actually more different than talking to the lead, more difficult than talking to the lead on the telephone. And then I will mention some success tools and automation techniques that will help you with your internet leads. At any time, if you have any questions, use that chat section that you've been using already to communicate with me or ask me a question. If I don't answer it right away, that's okay. Hang tight. I will get back to you, and I may address it at the end. So thank you for your patience with that. And as I should mention and did already mention, I don't know if all of you heard, I am here by myself today. So please be patient if I have to deal with a glitch or if I'm answering questions. I'm staying focused. I'm on multiple things at the same time. So thank you for that. So I've only heard some people are saying it's blurry for me, must be the internet. Well, keep me posted on that if you're having trouble. I'm hoping that it will stream okay. Again, you can download or watch the replay later. Hopefully that will be clearer. So my name is Melissa Zavala, and I am a broker, author, and trainer in the state of California, and you can find me at info@melissazavala.com. You can read my blog, melissazavala.com, and I'm also a contributor to The Real Daily, and my products are available on Amazon. But today, it's all about you and how to convert your internet leads. It's not about me. So before we jump in, let's have a look at the technology and basically also the stats. So the stats for internet and real estate in 2016 look like this. 90% of buyers who use the internet worked with an agent, and they are more likely to use an agent than those that don't. So that's good news. All of the people that are using the internet, 90% of them would still work with an agent, which is really good news because we tend to think that those products on the internet are going to be stealing away our clients, but in fact, they're just facilitating things for everyone else. 56% of first-time home buyers are between 25 and 34. So that's important to know. That's your big market. And 55% of buyers turn to the internet first. So before they even call you, they're hunting on the internet. Probably more than that, but the statistic I saw was 55% go to the internet first. And we're going to talk about how long it takes from the time they start using the internet till they actually contact you. But here's some interesting stuff about why time is of the essence. So 5%, you're 5 times more likely to make contact with the lead if you respond in the first 5 minutes. That's why it's, you get that lead on your phone and you're with a client and it's really, really hard because you are 5 times more likely to make contact with a lead if you respond in the first 5 minutes as opposed to 10 minutes. In 10 minutes. But this is really crazy. You are 100 times more likely to make contact in the first 5 minutes as opposed to 30 minutes later. And we had an internet lead come into our office fairly recently. I mean, we get them all the time, but one specifically, and I actually got it on my phone, and I was in a position where I could not look at my phone and assign it to somebody at that exact moment. And when I assigned it 35 minutes later, the person who I assigned it to picked up the phone to call on that internet lead. It was for a listing. And that person said they already had 15 phone calls And so, of course, we lost out on that. So perfect example of why time is of the essence and why you really, really need to set up systems for yourself where you can respond right away, which is often, of course, we must acknowledge that that's difficult in certain circumstances, because if you're with a client, you can't say, hey, I got to go call my other client right now or my prospective client. So that is a little bit tough. But internet users don't really always buy and sell their homes right out of the gate. They want to be contacted right away. You're more likely to make contact right away. And that small percentage of them that are buying immediately, those are the ones you want to maximize. Those are the ones, the first house they want to see is the one they buy. That would be great. But they don't usually buy and sell homes right out of the gate. They're just in that investigation stage. And this is the time frame. So for sellers, from the time they start using the internet until the time that they sell is generally 21 months. And for buyers, it's 27 months. So if you're using a lead gen program on the internet and you just started and you're frustrated because you haven't converted everything or anything, you need to know that your sweet spot is probably at about 18 months in, because at 18 months in, all of your people that started using that product when you started are finally going to be getting the ball rolling. So it's a very, very long time frame from this time you start getting internet leads. You need to be really, really consistent and give it 27 to 30 months, because this is how long the average buyer is taking from the time they start until they make their purchase. And of course, in these early phases, they're doing a lot of pre-research. So since they're in the pre-research phase, you've got to provide them with a lot of relevant information and relevant content. I'm going to talk about that shortly. And then when they get closer and you're feeling them getting closer, then you need to start showing your value and offering your big, big value to get them to appointment, and then of course into a home, or getting you to list their property. So and so again, the leads I'm talking about specifically or primarily today are going to be any people that show interest and provide real contact information. So they're inquiries on your site, and not all inquiries are going to result in everything, and not all people are going to give legitimate information. So these are obviously the ones that don't give you real information. They don't want to talk to you. They're not ready yet. They're probably like in the first month of a 21-month period. So they're not ready for you. So that's okay. You can focus on people that are ready for you. So to generate leads, and of course the way that you're getting all sorts of leads online, and I'm not really going to focus on this today, but I'm sure that a lot of you are using all of these different tools in order to get these leads. So social media sites, maybe you're getting leads through posting on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, anything like that. From your blog, you may get leads from your blog. You may get leads from videos you've posted. You may get leads because you've got some good Yelp reviews or Google Plus reviews, so people read those and then they call you, and that's a great way to get leads, by the way. You may get leads from syndication sites such as Zillow or Trulia or Realtor.com. So leads may come in from there, whether you're paying for them or just getting them organically. You may be using Craigslist to post homes for sale, maybe getting leads there. Online forms. Organic search. So if your website or you show up very nicely on the page 1 of Google, then maybe you're getting leads that way. Perhaps you're using pay-per-click advertising. And there are many other ways, but these are the big, big, big ones that people are using right now. And I know as a real estate professional, you need to be doing more than one of these in order to create all of these funnels, all of these ways to get things into your sales funnel. And so you're probably getting a handful, and it's really good to track where they're coming from. So you're going to generate traffic from all the places on that chart. You're going to obtain leads, and once you've got the leads, now you've got to convert them. So the focal point of the rest of the webinar today is how to convert those leads. So these are the keys to making an initial connection with those leads. Number 1, you've got to be super duper responsive. So 88% of leads feel that response time is extremely important when selecting an agent. Because we are in an internet era, and we've been in this era for at least 15 years, every year we're in it, people require much more immediacy. I mean, in the 80s when we were selling real estate, if anyone on the call was selling real estate in the 80s, You could, that people would call the office. No, people didn't even have a cell phone. So people would call your office. The receptionist would write a phone message for you. You'd come in the next day. You'd pick up your message, or the receptionist would call you at your house. So there was no need to feel that that immediacy was not as important. But now, as we just discussed, you want to get in touch with someone within the first 5 minutes if you can. So again, you're 100 times more likely to reach a lead if you respond in 5 minutes versus 30 minutes later. And 31% of leads expect a real estate agent to reply instantly to their online inquiry. So 31% of leads really are looking to have an instant reply. So you've got to be everywhere all the time, and sometimes that is difficult. So it's really good to create have some automated tools to help you with that. And the second thing is you need to kind of understand your audience. So source is really important. So where did they find me? What triggered them to become a lead? And am I the only one responding? So then the example that I gave before, the lead came from a group called Referral Exchange. And if anyone's interested in Referral Exchange, it's referralexchange.com. And that's a program, and I'm not sure what the annual fee is, but it might be $300 or $400. But what happens is they vet people, and they get you, if you get on the list, then you can receive referrals and for a 25% referral fee. And you can actually also give referrals for a 25% referral fee. So you would upload your referral into Referral Exchange. And then when it's assigned to an agent in another state, maybe you have someone that's moving to another state, then at the end you will get the 25% referral fee. So in that specific example, which is the one I gave before, we were not the only ones responding. So when Referral Exchange sent us the link, do you want this lead? And I accepted it. So did 14 other people. So there was like a real free-for-all for that listing lead, and we were not quick enough because I was in that meeting. But where did they find me? So am I the only one responding? So if I am the only one responding, I have like a little more time. But if I am not the only one responding, then I've got to be super fast. If you have, for example, a Premier setup on Zillow, and someone goes to one of your properties and they click on it and they're interested in seeing it, you are the only person that's showing because you've got that kind of exclusive setup with Zillow. So you have a little more time. Whereas if you're showing up on some sort of thing like this on Trulia, you're competing against these other people. So you need, if you understand where, and also you need to understand, not only am I the only one responding, but why are they a lead, and where are they, and what site are they coming from, or what are they looking for? So if they're going to your website where you've written an article about Carlsbad Village homes for sale, and you've got to buy, that they've Googled Carlsbad Village and they've ended up on your website. So you've got a little more information about them. So you've got to really understand that audience so that you can respond appropriately. And then you want to provide value. So nothing turns a potential client into an opportunity lost faster than a canned response. And there was an article over the weekend on Inman which really talked about how important it is to provide a creative and natural response that comes from you. The article talked about all of these products that are available now to systemize and automate, but if everybody's automation looks the same, it's a real turnoff. So you do want to provide value and show what is special about you. So you need to answer their question first, provide value, and then move into more probing questions. So if someone indicates that they want to look at one of your properties and they have some questions about it, answer those questions first, and then show in the secondary part of the conversation, what your value is, and then ask some more questions so you can try and create a sustainable relationship with that lead and really convert them. And of course, try to drive people away from those generic sites to your personal site where they can interact with you, where you can monitor better if you've got like a robust CRM that monitors that stuff. And it will give them more information, and then you've got them out of that web of syndication where they may deviate and find some other agent to help them. And you can do that by offering benefits, not features. So for leads, they're always looking at what's in it for me Always. It's never about what's in it for you. So an internet lead is shopping the internet. For me, for example, when I'm at home at night and let's say I'm clothing shopping online or shoe shopping, I'm reading the reviews. I'm looking for the best price. I'm thinking about what's in it for me. So internet people are shoppers. They're not picking up the phone and calling you because they already know your friend and your friend recommended you. So you've really got to offer benefits that are going to help to create that sustainable relationship with the client. So an examples would include customization, increased exposure, time savings, money savings, of course. These are things that people are looking for. For example, for sale by owners. Why do they list, on their own? They list on their own because they don't want to pay a realtor. So there, you've got to target them with the money savings. So you've got to be able to prove to them the value that's in it for them of using a realtor. And one of the statistics I saw a few years back, it came out of the California Association of Realtors infographic, which was that in the state of California, for example, a for sale by owner actually, people that sell with an agent sell their home for $46,000 more than for sale by owners. So there you've got a super compelling statistic to go to a for sale by owner and really show them the value that the real estate professional provides. So that's the benefit to them. Your expertise, for example, is a feature, not a benefit. So, if I say I'm professional, I'm trustworthy, I have a college degree, I speak all these languages, people aren't really caring about that initially. They're caring about what's in it for me. So as you speak to people or communicate with them via the internet, make sure that you're speaking to what they are looking for, which again would be customization. So, someone that wants to list with you, they want to see how your listing portfolio or what you do for them is customized and exclusive to them, how it will provide increased exposure, how working with you will save them time, whether it's on the buyer side or the seller side, and of course the money savings is huge. So those are the things you want to be focusing on. And then you want to make a connection. So using all of the information available, you want to create interaction. So I'm going to show you in just a second what I mean and how you can really do that. But you need to convey that you're human, you're not automated, that you're trustworthy, and that you understand the client's needs and concerns, or the prospective client's needs and concerns. And the best way to get more information so you can make a more human connection is using a lead validation system. So by checking the name, address, phone number, and social media profiles, you can really grow your information that you have about them, and then you can use that data to script appropriately. So let me show you what I mean by that. So here are some sample CRM leads from my office CRM system. So here are 4 leads. I took this screenshot last week. These are all happen to be buyer leads. And the CRM that we have actually gives them a grade. And then these are the emails, and then I've whited out here with the phone numbers. But so this is kind of the level of analytics that you can get depending on the CRM that you've used. So here is, for example, this person was searching on a mobile device, and these 2 people, these little newspaper things, that shows that those people, the system found some social profiles for them. And then they all logged in 4 days ago, and they all came from Bing. And then this is what they're looking for. So this is really helpful to me, right? So this one's looking for 324,000 is the average in Escondido, 2 million in Encinitas, 269,000 in Oceanside. I'm in North San Diego County, I think I mentioned that, and 380,000 in Oceanside. And then based on the questions that they answer and the way that they're looking, the computer generates a guesstimate of the time frame for purchase. So 3 to 6 months. This is a good one, right? 3 to 6 months, 2 million in Encinitas. That's a good one. 6 to 12 months, and then of course 12 to 24 months. And this is some data about their, when they logged in, we called them, did we text message them, things like that. And then over here, this shows us how many properties they looked at. So I didn't create a screenshot of this, but if I were to click on this 27, it would show me all the properties that this lead looked at, so that when I contact him or her, I can say, hey, I see that you're looking for a two-story homes in Escondido, or I can be very specific so that I can create better, or I saw you looked at some beautiful two-story homes in Escondido, whatever it is. And then whether they're first-time home buyer, this is helpful, and whether they have a house to sell. And none of these have to say that they have a house to sell. For those that are asking, yes, this is recorded and you'll get the replay afterwards, because I got a few messages that maybe the sound was going out. So with regard to the social media data, when I showed you that the little icon right here, here's what the social profiles show. So for one of them, I clicked on it and it shows me that it found this woman's Pinterest, her Twitter, her Clout profile, and that she's in Texas. So if she's actually in Texas, it may not be 100% accurate. So possibly she's a relocation to San Diego. So this is also really helpful when I'm talking with someone on the telephone and trying to convert them, because I have more information about them. And then you can see the sample search history. So, where they performed a search, what properties they looked at, and things like that. So that's really, really helpful information, of course, for converting the internet lead. And then you got to follow up until you get fired. If you know from the very beginning that it's going to take 20 to 30 months to convert someone, then if you're fired up and prepared mentally for that, then it's not such a bad, you don't get so disappointed. So I think the best approach is to just assume that everyone's going to fire you. So you should, one of the men that works in our office says, I just keep on asking to be fired. Over and over, I keep on asking to be fired. So you need to be persistent. You need to use multiple channels. So by that, I mean the telephone, email, texting. You could even message them through social media spheres, things like that. But respect the do not call list, and then give the disinterested parties the opportunity to disconnect. So shortly, I'm going to talk about how I've incorporated drip campaigns into keeping in touch with internet leads. But at the same time, I'm just going to tell you, I took, I think I had like 1,200 internet leads that I hadn't made a meaningful connection with yet. So 800 of them, MailChimp rated them 2-star or less, meaning they weren't interacting very well with our weekly emails. So on Saturday, I sent those 800 MailChimp leads an automated message in MailChimp where I basically said, quick question for you in the subject line. Are you still looking for a home? I mean, some of these were over like a year and a half old. Are you still looking for a home? And what was really interesting were the statistics on that. Of course, they were rated 2-star for real non-interaction. I got 3 only out of like 827 that I sent. I got 3 responses. 2 asked to be removed from the list. 1 said she's still looking. And then it was opened by like 10% or 11% of the people. So that was like 90 or 100 people opened it. 3 responded. I took 2 of them off the list. So I was hoping, I would love to take 400 off the list, but I only got fired by 2 people. So give people the opportunity to fire you by sending simple text messages, simple emails, saying, are you still looking for a home? Be forward about it. Are you still planning to sell? Because if they tell you, no, I'm not, then don't, focus on someone that is. Got to be really focused on the essential stuff that's going to help you make money. Okay, so a couple of people are asking me, what are we using to get the info? So that info I was using, the chart that I was showing you was from Commissions Inc., which is a platform that we use at our office. So some of the other programs or companies that offer a similar product, which is very robust, is our Conversion, Tiger Leads, those 2, Zerple, and then Follow Up Boss is a really good one. It doesn't have, which allows you to keep all of your leads in one place, and also has that robust feature where it will go out and look for the social media profiles for you. So while the monthly fee for a product like Follow Up Boss may be higher than just using a regular old CRM, if it's looking for all this extra data that's going to help you to help you to make a meaningful connection, or maybe get one more deal or two more deals a year, then I think it's really worth it. So I'm doing it through Commissions Inc., but those are some other ways that you can do the exact same thing. So how are you going to, okay, so with all that data, how are you going to craft a master plan? One of the hugest challenges for realtors is people think we just drive nice cars and go look at houses, when in fact that's just like 5% of your job. And juggling all the balls, or balancing or spinning all those plates is so, so difficult. So let's talk about what that master plan will include. So first of all, most easy thing is to identify where the prospect is in the process. Well, some people say buyers are liars. I haven't exactly had that experience. I just try and figure out, are they going to work with me? Are they going to work with me in 3 years, 2 years, 1 year, 1 week, 1 month? And I got to get them into a funnel for that, because I'm not going to really spend a lot of time on the people that are 3 years out. I'm going to keep in touch with them, but not in the very same way. So you've got your A list. Those are people who are buying or selling in the next 90 days. Pre-approved or cash buyers, they're motivated. They respond to phone, text, and email. These are the people you've got to get on a hot list. These are your hot buyers. So again, buying or selling in the next 90 days, pre-approved or cash buyer, they're motivated, and they're responding to phone, text, and email. And of course, with pre-approved, I always like to encourage them to shop their loan with a couple of my preferred lenders, because I already have a relationship with my lenders and I know they close on time. And although I love meeting new lenders, and I have met some really great lenders when a client has come to me when they're pre-approved already, I just want them to I also want to make sure that they're getting the best possible, loan. They're shopping their loan. Then you've got your B list, buying or selling in 3 to 6 months. These people are organized, serious, loyal, and they respond to you and to the lender. So these are people that maybe are still in the pre-qualification process. They've got to get their taxes done. They're working with their lender to iron out a few glitches with their loan, but they're polite and they're responsive to you and they're engaging you. So those are your B list. And then I've got what the C list is. And the C list is the one that I was just talking about that I did that drip campaign for, and I'm going to share that in a few minutes. So the C list is a web lead with whom you have had like no direct contact, or only maybe like once or twice contact. They talked to you once and then they began to ignore you. They appear to be searching your site still. However, they're not engaging with you, and they are looking to buy or sell. So all of these people, obviously, if you don't have legitimate data for them, then they're not, they don't count at all. And then you've got to kind of determine which list to put them on. Those are kind of some good parameters, but you can also listen. So when you listen to them, you want to figure out if they're high D, high I, high S, or high C. So what I mean by that is, are they very dominant in the conversation? Do they know what they want? Are they very interpersonal or interactive? Are they very stable or very cautious? And using like the Tony Robbins disc profile, if you're familiar with it, you can really hear what a client wants or needs if you listen to them talk more than you speak. So for example, if they're high I, they're probably telling you that they're very concerned about the schools, they're very concerned about the neighborhood, they want to know what sports are going on at the local parks, they want to know how close the proximity is to X mall or X restaurant or X activities that they're already doing. So they're very high I. So you can focus your conversations with them and the information you send them on stuff that will support that high interactive. High D is someone that is very determined and decisive, and so often those people are a little bit overbearing. High C is going to be cautious, so they're going to need a slower decision maker often. Same with high S. So you're going to want to provide those people with a lot of statistics and data in order to compel them to make the best decision. So the S and the C people are going to be it's going to be very helpful to them to provide your own referrals for very good lenders, for example, just giving so that they can look at the numbers and analyze the numbers. So like engineers are often very high S and C. They really like that data. Let me just look at these questions. Give me just a second on that. Okay, there are some questions on here about how to set up the CRM and what do I need to operate, what CRM, what drip source, follow-up boss, etc. Okay, I actually am going to answer all of those questions, so stick with me on this. As I go through the rest of the presentation, I'll make sure to address those. Great questions. Okay, so these are the questions you're going to want to ask the people that you talk with. So are you already working with an agent? When are you interested in purchasing or selling? If you're buying, what are you looking for exactly? 2-story, 1-story, near the school, far away from the school? I'll be honest, I've got a kid who's 18 now. That's my youngest one. My husband and I are going to be moving in the next couple of years. I do not want to be near a school anymore because I don't want to hear the bells all day. But you know, when the kids are younger, I didn't mind that. So I'm in a different position in my life. So so those are the kind of things you're going to want to listen to. Do you need to sell your current home in order to buy? Winner, winner, chicken dinner, because you can get a listing as well. And of course, if they're coming from out of town, have you been to Encinitas before, Carlsbad, San Diego, whatever? And then of course, that would be if they need to sell their home in Texas or New York or whatever, you can also help to provide them with the referral in the way that I just explained. And are you planning to come to visit soon? And of course, you'll want to take them out for a little neighborhood tour if they are coming to visit soon. So that's how you can determine which list they should be on, in addition to the parameters I just reviewed. And then you're going to nurture each list differently. So for your A list, you're going to call 1 to 2 times a week or text them regularly, depending upon their interests. So if you show them some properties and they're on your A list, you're going to want to keep in touch. What did you think of the properties? Did you call the lender? Do you want to see some more? Are you ready to make, that one looks like it's going into escrow. You missed out on it. How about go look at some more? Give them information about market times, whatever they need. And you can do that through property alerts, market information, introductions to lenders, and through emails, texts, of course, as well. And the B list, you're going to do the same, but a little bit less frequently, because they're on like a slower plan. And then if they start to interact with you a lot, then you're going to want to amp them up to the A list. And then the C list, you're just going to provide lots of food for thought. That would be reports, property alerts, and drip campaigns. Just calling them on a slow, regular interval. So the question was what products do you need and how do you operate? What CRM, what drip source? So the follow-up boss is the product I mentioned. There's another one called Pipeline ROI. They both do the same thing. They're very good products. And what those products do is you can configure all of your lead sources. So that's all the ones I mentioned in that chart at the beginning, everything, so that when you get the lead, it doesn't go into your email and you're not scrambling. It goes into the system. So instead of the Zillow lead coming to your email, the Zillow lead goes to Follow-Up Boss or Pipeline ROI. It goes into the funnel there. And then from there, you work the system. You set up the time frames for communication. You set up the reminders. They've got drip campaigns built in there already, so you can put each person on a drip campaign already. And I believe they also have text messaging and mass text messaging there. So when you're creating your leads, wherever you're creating them, you just making sure that they go into one funnel, so you're not getting 57 emails from all these different sources during the day. And likewise, if you have an assistant or a partner that you're working with, then you can assign those leads, or you can say, let's just say you're getting 20 leads a week and you're working with a partner and you each have a login to the site. The system will go, assign one to you and one to your partner, one to you, one to your partner. And that way, but you're each in the same system. And so you've got your checks and balances, but you're each working half the leads, and you can follow what the other one's doing and see, make sure they're following up accordingly. Obviously, though, if you have a team, then the team you can also set it up so the team doesn't see each other's leads, and you as the team leader can then go through and evaluate whether your team is responding accordingly. And another setup, depending on how robust or big you want to get, is to have just someone that's dedicated to doing all of this for you. That's that ISA, inside sales agent. So they basically manage your platform. They're making your calls and they're doing your texts and they're setting your appointments for you. And some people We can talk about this more at the virtual assistant slide. Some people actually farm that out to a virtual assistant in India or the Philippines or somewhere like that. Yeah, so you do use tags. So Samantha's asking me, do you use tags? You can use, depending on what system you use, you can use tags. So in these CRMs, it's great to have like a 0 to 3 tag, a 3 to 6, email works, phone is bad tag, stuff like that. So then you can go back and click, and in those systems, if you've got your 3 to 6 month group, you can mass text message your whole, it's not a group text where everyone sees each other, but you can send a single text which goes out to the 20 or 30 people in your 3 to 6 month cycle with just one text message, which could be like, hey there, do you want to go out and look at properties this weekend? The weather's going to be beautiful. Just see what they say. And people are more likely to respond to a text than they are to a phone message. So there's a real benefit to using the text messages. So what's real interesting and challenging, and it wasn't really what I expected to happen when I started doing a lot with lead conversion and analyzing it, was getting the internet leads. That was a chore in itself. Getting them into the system, that was a second chore. But what was really difficult for a lot of agents was creating a sustainable relationship in the first face-to-face meeting, because you could get them all the way to the meeting, and if you don't connect then they're going to be shopping again all over the internet, which is where you met them in the first place. So you've got to consider the lead source, where they're coming from, whether they're a shopper, whether they're loyal to you. Obviously, if it's a friend of a friend, your loyalty level is going to be a little bit higher. Or you can, if you can find some commonality, if your kids skate at the same skate park, go to the same school, if you could just find something, then it's easier to create that sustainable relationship. But you also want to consider the location of the first appointment, because you do want to, obviously safety is huge consideration in the field of real estate. So do you want to do it your first appointment at the office? Do you want to bring someone with you? Do you want to meet them at the property? That's something you really need to evaluate. Of course, when we were looking at the social profiles, if you've got a CRM and your CRM has identified the social profiles, and you're able to go into Facebook and see that this is actually a legit person and they seem to have a lot of friends, and you can kind of evaluate where there might be like a little bit less of a safety concern versus someone who you can't find on the internet, where you've got no link to them, you've just got a cell phone number and a first name. You may want to consider holding that first appointment meeting at the office and then going in 2 cars and having that whole setup there. And then pay attention to verbal and nonverbal cues. So, if they're hesitant to talk to you, if they're doubting you, if they're very closed or introverted and not sharing with their real thoughts, you're going to have to really, work on different techniques for creating the sustainable relationship. And then don't be a Pop-Tart. Now, this is really, really hard. So people are calling, a Pop-Tart agent is an agent that gets a call or a text at 3:57 when he is on his way to the 4:15 soccer game for his son, and he says, oh, come show me this house right now. And so he deviates from going to the soccer game, and he goes to show the property. We are constantly in a state of flux as real estate professionals, because yes, we want the money. Yes, we want to create the relationship. Yes, we want the transaction. But at the same time, you also are setting yourself up as someone who, I don't want to say I guess I'm going to say is less professional. You want to set up that you are the consummate professional, that you work from certain hours, that you have appointments already scheduled in your day, and while you're more than happy to give them top-notch customer service, they need to respect your time frames. I've had people text me at 10 o'clock at night, and I've told them no. And then they've gotten angry, and then I've just said, go away. I am not taking text messages at 5 in the morning or 10 o'clock at night. So you've got to decide what your parameters are, and very congenially create that trust and create that relationship, while at the same time letting them know that we're going to be setting appointments to meet, and you're more than happy to provide them with all the information that they need at the appointments. So there are some questions coming in, and I will address those. So be patient, guys, that are writing those questions. And make sure your preferred lender is available. So one of the problems that we had a couple years ago was that we had a preferred lender, and we would let him know kind of on Friday if we thought we'd need to be calling him over the weekend, and then he wasn't picking up. Well, when you got someone next to you and you can get them qualified like right away so they can write an offer, and your preferred lender's not picking up, your preferred lender shouldn't be preferred anymore. So you've got to say no and look for someone that's willing to take your calls. Of course, you're not going to call them 24/7 with all your drama, but just to know that you this weekend you need them to pick up the phone if you call, because you're going to be working with someone you'd like to get them qualified as soon as possible. So make sure your preferred lender is available. I also like, if you're going to be doing a really successful open house, invite your preferred lender to join you. Even if some people come in with agents, the lender may still get those deals. You might not, but they will. So your preferred lender would probably like to join you at open house. And then take control of the meeting. So, find your rhythm to set expectations accordingly and take control and demonstrate that you are the professional who knows more about real estate, who is knowledgeable, who can lead them to the best deal, to whatever they're looking for, that you are their pathway to getting what they want. And for me, that's a lot about setting expectations accordingly. Agents come to me all the time and they say, oh, my client was so angry because the lender didn't tell him X. Well, you need to set your expectations accordingly. If you pick your own lender, then if they pick their own lender, then you have no control, over what the lender's doing and whether he's performing on time and whether he conducted the appraisal in a timely manner and things like that. And another thing you can do, and depending on where you are in the United States and what your position is and your broker's position is, obtain a buyer representation agreement. If you think the buyer is going to be all over the place, I'm sure that I know that in California, and I bet dollars to donuts that most of the states in the United States have a standardized buyer representation agreement that can be downloaded and completed. So you can ask your buyer if they want that exclusive representation, and that way, you can offer them some real benefits through that exclusive representation, which of course you are ultimately, for the most part, compensated through the commission. So in most cases, it might not cost them a dime to do that. And then have them sign a contract. That way, when they're out shopping, you have that loyalty built in. And putting your systems on autopilot, and this is where some of these questions that are coming in will probably be addressed. So what daily activities can you put on autopilot, and which activities require minimal human intervention? So it's really good to have certain activities on autopilot, because we can't be all things to all people, and we do want to catch a breath and enjoy the family and our alone time and our me time, things like that. So I like putting drip campaigns on autopilot. So one example is we talked about A list, B list, and C list. So what I do is the C list is people that are really, as I said, not responsive. So I take that C list and I use MailChimp. And if you participated in any of my webinars before, then you've heard me talk about MailChimp. There are other products like Constant Contact, Aweber, Infusionsoft. There are plenty of email drip campaigns. MailChimp does happen to be free if you want to try it out for your first 200 people that you put in there, up to 12,000 emails a month. So I put my C list in MailChimp, and what I do is I use our company blog, which we put out one article a week, and I customized it and made it all pretty so that it automatically goes out as a drip campaign when there's a new blog on the website. So we've got our blog scheduled for Wednesday morning at 4 a.m. So what happens is MailChimp automatically gets an alert. This all happens behind the scenes. MailChimp gets an alert, and it sends out to everybody who's on my C list this customized email, which just has the latest article on the office website. And there are a couple of buttons on there. Click here to search for homes, click here if you're ready to sell, and a couple of other things, banner, things like that. So it does look very customized and exclusive, but at the same time, this all happened automatically. My only responsibility is to add people to the C list every week so that that's growing and growing. And that was the group that I went back, and all the 2-star people, I sent them the message over the weekend. So once a week, I'm adding my new emails to the list, and I'm trying to send this on regular intervals to my to my C list. You can also send one to your A list or your B list, and you can be asking them for referrals, showcasing your current listings, showcasing what's going on at open house. I would encourage you with the A list and B list to also provide some little aspect of the social you, because those are the people that you're going to want to be getting to know better and better, so that they can not only buy from you and sell through you, but also give you referrals. So if you just went on a vacation and you went water skiing, or you took a picture of a crocodile, or you put your head in the mouth of a lion and you want to share that to show you're a risk taker and you're brave, or to connect on, that you have family, whatever it is, you can put a little picture in there and talk about it a little bit. Don't overdo it, but just provide some information about the social use. So you can do that with your A list and your B list on regular intervals. And that Inman article that I mentioned talked about really encouraging these more customs types of email newsletters, as opposed to the things that you can get through all of these companies that offer newsletters for you to send out. Because just know, if you're sending it, so are a whole bunch of other agents. So if they're on a few mailing lists, they're getting a couple of things that are exactly the same. So incorporate text messaging. I mentioned this earlier. I love text messaging. We did this, one of the young men that works in my office, he had, I think, 100 leads, and I can't remember what I think we decided to mass text message all of his 100 leads and say, hey, are you still looking for property? We did this at the beginning of the office meeting, and he said 10 minutes later, he goes, can I be excused from the office meeting? I have 38 responses already. I need to go start calling people. So I cannot overemphasize the importance of mass messaging products, incorporating text messaging. It's so much easier. Even if people are responding and saying, who is this? And you just say, it's Melissa. Are you still looking for a home? Nothing wrong with that. And then there's a great little hack that I have figured out fairly recently, which is that if you have an iPhone and you do not have a person's phone number, you can put their email into the subject, where you would put in the phone number. And if their email is linked through iCloud, then they will get the text message. So you can iMessage them. I don't know if it works on the Android products. I'm less familiar with those. But if it turns blue, then you can send it anyway as an email. And if it goes out green, then they're getting it. And when they respond, you'll get their phone number. So even if you don't have their phone number, if you try putting their email into the text message, the to's section, you may be able to text them anyway. And you may want to create quick text templates for cut and paste so that you can do things more quickly. And then property alerts. So property alerts are great. You can, of course, set those up through your MLS. So if you put clients on searches, if you're using one of these robust CRMs like Commissions Inc. or any of those, then people will get the property alerts automatically based on what they're already searching for. And you can manually add any new buyer prospects. And then people will get stuff daily or as it comes on the market, and that will keep, and you can also evaluate whether they're interacting with it. If they're opening every alert, they're probably pretty hot to buy very soon. Okay, Samantha, what are you asking me? We can't use MailChimp to grab emails for ebooks and lead magnets. No, well, I'm not really sure what you're asking me. You add your emails to MailChimp to send out stuff, but you can use it to create a list, like a lead magnet list through a landing page. So maybe I'm misunderstanding your question. Okay, so your inbound marketing campaigns, you've got to create plans and pathways for different inbound marketing campaigns. So of course, like that chart I showed you that was orange at the beginning, all of these things are going to go into here, which is your inbound marketing, which is where you're going to convert everybody. And try to use automated responses when you can, and try and deliver anything you offer as soon as possible. And again, I said hire a virtual assistant. So remember when I talked about using Pipeline ROI or Follow Up Boss or any of these things, you can have a virtual assistant or an inside sales agent do some work for you that, evaluate, what kind of volume are you looking for in 2016? Is it something that you're going to manage on your own? Would it be helpful to have an in-house assistant? Do you want to hire someone from somewhere, outside of your office or even from another country. There are all sorts of ways to leverage your business. There are some pros and cons to hiring someone in India or the Philippines. One of the pros, of course, is it's very affordable. One of the cons may be that the work hour, they may not want to work the same hours that you're working. So you've got to kind of evaluate how you want that to go. And so the tips and tools to help you succeed, of course, a good CRM, some good drip campaigns, some market reports, some autoresponders, which you can actually set up through your MailChimp or any of those products. So autoresponders are those automated emails that go out at regular intervals to follow up. But of course, market reports will do that too. Market reports will, or your property alerts will send out stuff when new stuff comes on the market. A good, strong personal website, even if it doesn't have IDX and homes for sale, you definitely want people to go to your website so that that will build trust. And of course, you want to rock those scripts because you've got to feel comfortable talking to people on the telephone. So some simple tips to remember is that the goal is to get people to respond. When they do, stop the campaign because you're going to have to customize your follow-up more. And then as far as email tips go, you're going to respond quickly with information of value and focus on what they're looking for, and always ask to meet up, and always leave a voicemail. And of course, if you stand and smile when you speak on the phone, your tone changes and it's much more authentic sounding and congenial sounding. So I'd encourage you to stand and smile and match your voice to your audience. So if your pace is fast and that person seems a little slower, then you've got to breathe in and slow down. So think about that. Now, as far as your lead conversion plan, and I'm going to give you a little book to download in just a sec, so hang tight on that. You need to respond to requests quickly, provide the value prospects are looking for. You need to ask questions and listen to responses, and pay attention, remember, to the verbal and nonverbal cues, and you put them on your ABC list. And set in place tools to continue to deliver value with market reports and listing alerts. And the thing is, you are the expert, so you need to control the meeting. The minute that they control the meeting, you are sunk. Whether you realize it or not, you are sunk. So let me get you this book. Let me click on this. Give me just a second. So right now you should see a PDF link in the corner of your screen. And so I've got some good templates in this little lead conversion ebook, which you can grab by clicking on the download now yellow offer on the side of the page. And if you're watching this as a recorded version, you can go to melissazavala.com and sign up, and then you'll get that real estate lead conversion book in email. So it's an ebook about mastering the art of successful lead conversion that has a whole bunch of templates that can help you get started with your lead conversion program. So I encourage you to click on that and download the link to grab that now before we finish up. I'm going to also have an Excel thing for you to grab in a second. So grab this real quick because I'm going to take away that offer in just a minute. So so obviously daily processes lead to good sales outcomes. If you're obsessing over your closing that's supposed to happen on Saturday, we don't close on Saturday, Friday or Monday, and you're not doing your daily activities because you're too busy putting out fires, then you're not going to have success in 3 months because you're on like a 90-day plan, a 12-week plan, and so you always need to be working now for closings in 12 weeks. And so you've got to be really focused on those daily processes. So it's all about having those good systems, some of which I discussed today. And don't stop running the race. And so create a disciplined method for setting aside time every morning or every day for working the leads before running out to your appointments and doing all of that other stuff that you need to do. And then you can, using some of the templates in this book. So I hope you grabbed that because I'm going to take that away in just a second. Now I've got 2 more things that you can also grab. And actually what I did here is I created a, let's see, so I've got two spreadsheets that you'll probably really like. But what I did for that is this is just a link to a page where you have links to download these Excel spreadsheets. And what these spreadsheets will help you if you haven't already done so. If you know you want to make 100,000 this year, it'll tell you, to figure out how many deals you need in order to do that and how many people you need to be adding to your pipeline, to your lead generation pipeline through that daily prospect calculator. So download the sheet that you can click on here to get, which has the links to these two Excel spreadsheets, which you can grab and use at your convenience later on. So I'll leave that up for the rest. Anyway, so as we close, I want you to really think about the one new lead conversion tactic that you can implement today. Is it mass texting? Is it putting everything into one CRM? Is it just starting to put emails into when you text message to try and get phone numbers just by messaging through email? Is it boosting a post on Facebook? What are you going to do? What one thing can you implement today that you can walk away and say that our 55 minutes have been something of value because you got a fresh idea? So think about that, jot that down, and maybe you can take action on that before the end of business today. And I know that you can have success. I am not a salesperson. For those of you that know me, I am not. One thing I'm really good at is doing the same thing every day. Give me a schedule, I can follow it. And that schedule can lead to hundreds and hundreds of closings. If you work the schedule, you don't have to be the king or queen of sales, but if you work your plan, you will create that embedded trust. And remember, it's a long period of time. It could be a 30-month period, so you've got to really, really stick to it. So now I'm going to take the last couple of minutes to answer the remaining questions on here. For those of you that don't want to hang out for that, thank you for joining me. And you can email me if you have any questions later at info@melissazavala.com if you have any trouble with any of the links that I provided earlier. So going back to the questions, let me just read through. Okay, so Samantha's saying she's found some little quirks in the MailChimp system with regard to landing pages and how different landing pages need to go to different lists. Okay, so that makes sense. What system do you use to send text messages? Well, our system, that Commissions Inc. system, has the mass text messaging built in, as I believe all of the products that I mentioned do. But I did go on the web last night and I looked at mass text messaging products, and I did find a few. I can't remember the names, but I would recommend that you Google mass text messaging products, and there were a few on there. They were little apps for like $3.99 that you could add to your phone. So maybe there's a way that you can do that. And I also set up through our office, I wish I remember the name of the company, where I was able to text message all of the agents to let them know, when a meeting was coming up, and I could schedule those in advance. So there are products out there that do that kind of stuff as well. A couple people are having issues with the Excel spreadsheet. I am sorry about that. I will, if you just send me an email to info@melissazavala.com and I'll send you the better links to download the Excel spreadsheet. Really sorry about that. So with regard to that, there was another question about tagging, and the hardest says, this is the hardest to figure them out. It's what tags to create. And now you're talking about 0 to 3 and 3 to 6. How do we know when they have been a tag for an ideal time? Well, you don't really know, but the thing is, if they're in the 3 to 6 tag and they start responding to you and you start interacting with them and you're going to set an appointment, you need to remove that 3 to 6 tag and put them in a 0 to 3 tag. So it is hard, I agree, and that's where it gets a little bit less regimented. So that's why when you set aside the time and you can go through your list every morning of all your leads and you can say, hey, did I talk to her lately? Oh, she's responding a lot, and you can move her. You've got to earmark that time. I just read a book called Essentialism by Greg McKeown, and if you if you have time to read, or if you can listen to it in your car, if you're doing an audiobook thing. And it really talks about just setting aside time to get things done and being very focused on your own stuff, not the stuff of other people, is a very disciplined way to be effective. So I found it in a way very motivational, because I do find that there's a lot of distractions in our lives, especially now with technology. And it's great to have, it was great to, very refreshing to hear someone say, you can say no to people and focus on what you really want or need to do. So, okay. And then, for those of you that that are still having problems with the spreadsheet, just email me at info@melissazavala.com. If you're watching this on YouTube, I will put the links. Go to melissazavala.com and create a click on the button to download the spreadsheets, and you will get a link to do that. So I think that's pretty much all of the questions, and we are exactly at 11 o'clock now. So thank you to all of you that stuck it out to the end. And I'm glad we really didn't have any technical glitches this time. I wish you much success with your real estate in 2016. There are so many products out there. It can be distracting, but there's never been an easier time, I think, to be successful. To find a product, to find your niche, to find your groove, and to just do an awesome job. And if I can help you with that in any way, I look forward to doing that. So have a great day. And again, you'll get a replay to this in just a few hours, and you can download the slides at slideshare.net/Melissa Zavala. Thanks, and best wishes.